welcome to Crafting It in the Lion's Den. Hi again. I'd meant to post a little bit sooner than today, but it's been a little bit eventful this since the last video. I lost a friend a few weeks ago to suicide, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about mental health again. I know it features quite a lot, and in my little intros I do talk about it a lot, because for me mental health is a huge thing. I've struggled with it for many years, and doing this, crafting, helping people, is a sort of therapy for me. Just disappearing and creating something means a lot for me. Unfortunately, my friend lost her battle with her mental health, and it's so hard. It's so hard to not only lose someone, but it's hard to understand why they may have done it. There's no anger there. There's no why. It's just sad, really. I always put the links for places you can go for help. From my own experiences, I would never ever recommend just relying solely on the NHS, and as good as they just are not equipped to deal with people. And I'm sure people have had their own horror stories there with them. It's down to your family and friends, really, to help you, to pick you up. I know I'm only still here because of my close circle, who really kept an eye on me, and there's only so much that agencies and stuff can do. I'll still put their links in, because sometimes it helps just to have an outside ear, hearing things that might be going on in your mind, or just having someone there to ground you who you don't know. But if you are struggling, please reach out to those closest to you, let them know. Yeah, so I hope you're all right. Anyway, so on to what are we creating today. So I made this, I finished it up a couple of weeks ago, but I just didn't have it in me to make a video. So this is it. Look how cute this is. So I based this on the Lover's Tarot card. It just inspired me to make this little thing. Look at that. I love it. It's so cute, and I'm hopefully going to get this video out just before Halloween, so it's in time for that. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care. So I started with this picture frame that I got from the pound shop, and I coated it with a black acrylic paint, but as you can see, it hasn't held on the material, and it's got all these scrapes all over it. Now this little frame is actually leftover resin. I had a mould of a picture frame, and I'd used to chuck all my leftover resin in there, so I've got loads of these little frames. I make things, you can see it on my Instagram if you're interested. Now I wanted that little frame to be sitting at the same level as the top of the big frame, so I cut up cardboard just to act as little wedges, as little platforms that will hold the smaller frame, the smaller resin frame. So it will sit something like that there. So when I was happy with it, I glued it using my trusty old glue gun, and I've cut up 4 bits of cardboard for either side, as that was what I worked out would be enough to be high enough to have that smaller picture frame sitting at the same level as the front of the bigger frame. So there we go, first one stuck down, and then just go ahead and glue the next bits on one by one, like that. Speed it up a little, there, zoom, bit of glue, whee, last one, and oh yeah, get all these little spider webs. I love a bit of glue gun spider webs. And then once it's there, you can see I've done it a little bit away from the edge, and that way it hides in nicely. I'm just having a look and positioning where I need to put the other side so that it does the same, so that it's not going to show and it's covered by the edges of the little frame. Doing exactly the same thing, got my 4 little bits of cardboard and glue gunning them down one by one until they reach the top of the big frame. And there we go. and leave that to dry. And there we go, look at that, stuck nicely. That's a nice little wedge platform. And if you've seen my other videos, you'll notice that that palette thing there is a resin project that went wrong. But instead of throwing it away, I use it as a paint palette because these are perfect to just wipe down with a baby wipe once you're done, and go again. So there's always uses for your leftover resin. I'm using black acrylic paint now, and I'm just going to cover all of the frame and the cardboard and everything and paint it all black. Once I'd done that, I was like, actually, I need to redo these edges of the big frame because they don't quite mix and match very nicely. So I decided to repaint it all, but I knew that it was probably going to scrape off again, so I'd need to coat it with something else after to try and ensure that it doesn't just scrape off every time you touch it or it gets knocked anywhere. So then once it was dry, I grabbed my Mod Podge. So this is the matte Mod Podge, and it acts as a sealant. It's absolutely perfect for this job. So I'm going all around on the big outside photo frame, and just going along with my Mod Podge, giving it a nice thick coat so that when it dries, it's not going to chip away every time the frame gets touched or knocked. It will protect it nicely. So don't be shy with your Mod Podge. Oh, got some foliage stuck there. But yeah, don't be shy. Plenty of it. And it will dry really quickly. It takes about a month to be fully dry, but it's worth it. It's good stuff and it's relatively cheap, so we like that. Now, we've got this purple moss stuff off the internet. Absolutely love it. It's so squishy and soft, just like your regular green moss that you get out in the trees, on the floor and all that stuff. I'm using a bit of glue gun, my hot glue, and I'm just going to stick on this purple moss onto the glue. I wanted to fill the whole of the background in purple moss because I wanted it to look like sort of like a magical woodland, like a witchy woodland. That's why I've gone for black and purple. And glue guns are hot, so I'm using a little stick to poke it in. And look at that, completely covered. It looks stunning. I love that look. And just checking with my little frame, it's going to sit nicely on top of that. So there we go, add in final bits of glue gum on my little platforms, my cardboard platforms, and gluing the frame in place. Now, these little skellies I got from the pound shop, they came like this, but I didn't like them like that because I wanted it to look like the Lover's Tarot card. So I pulled the legs off and then I heated these up with a hot air gun and just bent them into that shape. The tarot card has the two skellies on it that are hugging, so I wanted these two to be like little huggy, loved up skeletons. So I've put them into the position that I like, got them into like the embrace, and then I'm just using a little bit of glue, not too much, to secure them. It really doesn't take a lot of glue. Once that's all done, I had dried flowers and I thought I want to cover these edges, just make it sit and mesh a bit nicer. So I decided to fill the corners of the smaller frame with flowers. And what's nice is because of all the moss, it really clings onto those little stalks as you push them in. So you don't need to worry too much about securing them as they just sort of wiggle and push themselves through into the moss, which is nice. Once I was happy, I secured it all in place using this clear matte finish lacquer and just sprayed it all over to make sure that it was all set and nothing would come flying off. Left it to dry, and here is the finished piece. I absolutely love this, and it was so cheap and so easy to make. I hope you like it. If you do, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, I'll get back to you. Hope you're well. Bye.